Hey guys, so this is just a little sit down video. So it's basically episode 2 of the Jobless College Graduate. I'm doing this on the 7th floor of our condo building, so this is the dance room. I'm pretty sure you have to rent this to be able to use it, but the door is unlocked, so I just went in. This is my view right now. So you can see a bit of the Makati side, Makati view. And there's the road down there. So I just wanted to discuss in this video some of my thoughts about college. So I spent 5 years studying and completing my degree in engineering. My program was manufacturing, engineering, and management. So after 5 years of studying and passing all my exams, passing my thesis, and graduating, I'm currently in a situation where I can't find a job. So that's why I'm jobless. But throughout those 5 years, I've learned so much about the technical side of engineering. And when you're living in real life isn't always engineering. So I feel like I didn't learn much that I can apply to life outside of a job. You feel me? So we were learning lessons to be able to pass our exams so that we can graduate on time and eventually get our diploma. And a diploma is what you show to someone who's hiring you for a job, right? But what happens if you can't get into a job? You start applying to multiple jobs. You start getting rejected and your bank account is still empty. No one teaches you about cooking and how to save money by cooking. So you've always just known how to eat out, I guess. But that part of saving money, but the saving money part of the college journey is just something that you learn on your own, especially if you're attending a university that's far away from home. So you obviously live by yourself. And no one really tells you how to pay your bills and pay them on time. University doesn't really teach you much about financial literacy. So you could be living above your means and going out to eat a lot and taking Grab or the Philippine version of Uber. And you don't realize it adds up. You start going on a lot of dates, all that spending adds up. Well, it teaches you the information you need in order to excel at certain skills within engineering, if you did study engineering. But whatever discipline you did study, it teaches you the skill set that you need for your certain field. I learned calculus, manufacturing systems, research, engineering. But the moment I graduated, none of my actual problems were exam questions. A few of my actual problems were, what career should I choose? Should I take this salary? Should I move out? How much should I save? What if I hate my first job? So literally that's my life. So choosing the right career, there's a lot of opportunity, but there's so much competition. Companies that offer super low, and obviously you don't want to take that first offer right away, because once you bite, you're stuck in that contract, right? And there's a question of moving out. How can you move out if you have no money? You have no money because you have no job. How much should you save? How much should I save? But I can't save anything because I don't have money, because I don't have a job. And the offers that do come in, you start questioning, what if you hate this as your first job? What if you're gonna have some jobs that you applied for, that you get accepted into, that aren't really what your passion is, or don't really align as much based on what you study? And it's tough because that first job will always be, believe it or not, the trajectory for your next job. So it sets the path for your future jobs that you'll be maybe hopping around. So these were the problems. So these are the questions that I had after graduating. And college could never really answer those questions. Nobody had the answers. And also, nobody really teaches you how to get a job. They teach you how to fix up your resume, but if you can't get that first internship or your first job, what do you put on your resume? You have nothing to put on your resume. I said in my first video that I've sent over 250 applications and got rejected by over 200. And I have taken tons of interviews. I've gotten ghosted so many times. I've gotten rejected so many times after interviews. I've also had multiple HR interviews with single companies. How many interviews do we need to get through before you can actually get the job? It doesn't make sense, right? How strict does the hiring process need to be when we're earning so little, when the offer is going to be so little? And we live in a capitalistic society right now, right? We want to pay our workers as little as possible because we want to be the most profitable. It really favors people at the top. People at the top of the chain will always make the most, right? We spend years in college learning how to pass the tests, but almost nobody teaches us how to sell ourselves, right? Nobody tells us how to impress. Nobody teaches us how to conduct ourselves during interviews or conduct ourselves as people in general. College doesn't directly teach confidence. It doesn't explicitly teach you to be someone who keeps your chest up, fix your posture, enunciate your words. And they probably do that. They probably do teach us, but not directly. There's no course teaching confidence. Confidence and communication skills are things that you need, especially when networking, because networking is the easiest way to get a job. A lot of the people I know who have jobs now got in because they networked. It's true. I may not be the best communicator, but you best believe that if you hire me, I'm the hardest worker. Another thing they don't really teach is money. Money is huge. So, a few things that they don't teach with regards to money is the taxes. If you have, right, you have to have health insurance. Well, if you have a job, they probably have HMO. But yeah, insurance and investing, they don't encourage or teach simple things like investing in the S&P 500 or NASDAQ 100, or investing in property, real estate, or investing in a small business venture. So unless you're a business major, I guess, well, I didn't study business, but I figure this is the most useful thing, right? Even something as simple as investing in the S&P 500. How does a college student know what to do with money? Their leftover money that they could be investing. So that's something they don't teach. And I'm sure a lot of the professors have a big portfolio. Another thing that they don't really teach is budgeting. What I'm trying to get at is college really isn't setting you up for life. Or it doesn't really set you up for what you do after getting out of college. I knew how to calculate engineering problems, but I didn't know how to manage my own money. So I'm trying to think of things that I wish I knew in college, or some things that I wish I learned in college. And something that I could think of right now off the top of my head is relationships. Nobody teaches keeping friendships or dating or what to do when you feel lonely. No one teaches you about networking. Well, unless you get into these organizations or clubs, they don't really teach you about difficult conversations, because life suddenly becomes, after college, everyone is busy. Everyone's doing their own thing. Everybody's trying to find their job, trying to build their career. I'm just trying to give you guys perspective of the average person. Not everybody is average. There's some people who are above average. I wouldn't know. Another thing that I could think of is health being your responsibility. No one teaches you to work out, or they don't really teach you how to sleep properly. Because a lot of the time, you'd be sleeping super late, staying up all night, finishing your projects, or your lab reports or studying for exams. So don't really teach you time management with your health, like going to the gym and sleeping and eating well, getting the right amount of protein with the balance of carbs and veggies. You need fiber in your body. They don't really teach you much about that. They don't teach you about your mental health that you have to take care of. But what they did have is structure to set you up for the corporate life and getting a job. But I can't get that job. I can't land a single job. It's crazy. College life had structure, but adult life doesn't have structure. Adult life is more of this free-flowing thing. It's different person to person, but we're all in the same boat. And nobody really tells you that your 20s will be confusing. I thought graduating meant that I'd finally know what I was gonna do with my life. Instead, it felt like everybody else had a map except for me. You start comparing yourself with the people who are living out what they want to live out, and you start forgetting who you truly are. You start to try to compare your identity with their identity, where in fact it does not matter because you guys are two different people. But college wasn't supposed to teach me everything. It gave me technical knowledge, but life teaches everything else. If you're in your 20s and you feel behind, maybe you're not behind. Maybe you're just experiencing the thing that nobody really warned us about. I'm documenting everything as I learn it, so I'm just now learning it, and I'm sharing it with you guys. So yeah.